Hey witches, if you are enjoying Waking Up the Witch, then you're definitely going to want to check out my magical shop, Moonbee's Wellness in Medford, Oregon. We have a curated collection of crystals, incense, sage, witchy books, tarot, oracle, and so much magic made locally here in the Rogue Valley. Whether you're just beginning your witchy path or you've been on this journey for quite a while, we have so many items to support where you are in your journey. And we ship anywhere in the US, so no need to be local. But Moonbees is more than just a shop. We are also a sacred space and supportive to your healing journey. I'm a Reiki master, and I also offer a lot of intuitive sessions, including past life readings and past life regression sessions. And all of this can be done virtually online, so I can help you no matter where you're at. Come visit us in Southern Oregon or follow Moonbees Wellness on Instagram and Moonbees_Medford on TikTok. And remember, magic's this way.
This episode of Waking Up the Witch is brought to you by Taylar Styles. I'm Taylar Pickett, and I am an intuitive hairstylist in Southern Oregon. I offer in-person services as well as online tutorials on how to care for your curly hair, how to properly shampoo your hair. If you're a hairstylist, I offer lots of education and one-on-one consulting on how to build your clientele and take care of your clients. If you're interested in any of these services, please reach out to me. There will be a link in the bio. I also offer organic hair care from Innocence Organic Beauty, and you can also buy that online through me, link in the bio, and also on my Instagram page, Taylar Pickett Styles. I also have a TikTok page if you're into just talking a little bit more deeply about things, going into deeper dives about hair care, self-love, and self-worth. My TikTok handle is Southern Oregon Curl. And don't forget, tame nothing, nourish everything. Enjoy this episode. I'm Taylar.
And I'm Amber.
And this is
Waking Up the Witch. We're your neighborhood witches. Each week, we talk about all things witchy and connect with other humans in a storytelling format about navigating life on this floating rock.
We're two curious ladies trying to understand the human experience. But while we do that, we think it's important to honor the people that lived here before us and honor the cultures and traditions that we're being inspired by.
This podcast is about waking up the witch, which means we are learning and growing every day. That being said, we are always open to feedback on how we can do better.
The views and opinions of our guests don't necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Waking Up the Witch. Now, let's go, ghouls. Hey.
Hi.
What's up?
You know, just hanging out with my bestie. How are you doing?
I'm exhausted.
Yeah. It's like energy work.
Yeah. Move some stuff, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely did. How'd you get so far back?
I don't know.
How you feeling?
Tired.
Any other emotions or feelings?
No.
Maybe we should have played before.
Yeah, I was like all
Good to
jacked
know.
up. Hey, you never know.
It's
I think
true.
it's good to. Oh, so today's guest is me. Surprise. I guess you never know how the guests feel until you're in it. Like, until you're the guest. But also, I'm sure different people feel different ways once they're done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking. So for me, I just feel zonk.
Mm.
But I can hype up.
Maybe we go for like a little walk around the block real quick.
No, I don't want to do that. It's
Okay.
hot.
Yeah, it is
It's
hot.
so hot.
Jumping jacks. I don't know.
I think I'm fine. I'm back. I'm
Okay.
back. Back at it.
Yeah, that was really cool. A lot of the stories like I've heard like, you know, pieces of or sporadically throughout our friendship. So it's kind of cool to like listen to your timeline and like
it was
really
a little
put
all over the place.
pieces together and yeah, go a little deeper with you. It's really fun.
Yeah, I was a little bit all over the place, but that's how my brain works. ADHD ping pong factory in there.
Mhm. Mine's like
Um,
that too, though, so I can keep up.
love it.
Mm.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy this episode. Obviously, we'll bring you Amber's next. And it's nice to do this again from different perspective, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Mention it. You'll hear it here in a second, but kind of cool because we've talked about wanting to redo our stories. And I know that we've talked about it on air. It's kind of funny. Alicia's listening full through for the first time ever. And it's funny how synchronistic, like what we've been doing and going through and sharing with her, like along since she
It's so
watches the
funny.
shop for us, and how it's like, oh my God, you guys were just talking about this or that in the episode, and it's like very synchronistic, like we're on
Of course.
this timeline again, or it's like where we were always trying to go, and the energy or the it just wasn't available then, but now it's like we're full on in it, committed, and like making so many moves. And I think too, we
So many.
re-listened to our first episode. I forced Taylor to do it with me because she really didn't want to, and then we decided also that our stories were perfectly fine our first time. We just
Yeah.
were so nervous, like recording. And so, yeah, it was kind of cool to like go from a different perspective because of how much our podcast has evolved and the way that we storytell and what we talk about. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it was nice to just kind of be like, who the fuck are you? And how'd you become you? So that was awesome.
Yeah, I think when we started this, I had a fear of sharing. I also
Yeah.
like, since we have guests all the time, they talk the whole time, so it's not like we're really sharing that much.
Just a little bit of, oh yeah, me too, or little inspired stories that come up
Or
along the
just
way.
like something at the beginning, but it is different to like put it all out there.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Also, it's crazy to think like okay, so if you told your story like 100 different times, it would come out different every single time. It
It's
just
true.
depends on like what day and what's coming through and all of that. So there's so much more to a person than you can put in, an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
I talk for 2.5 hours. It also is crazy because I feel like the most of it is like middle to high school.
Mm-hmm.
So much happens in that time that feels like very shaping
Yeah, I mean that
to,
really is a huge developmental time in one's
yeah,
life.
I think even old people like think of themselves probably as that version of themselves.
Like,
So,
makes up who we are a lot.
yeah,
At least the
I can't
beginning.
believe we're gonna be old people. Kind of are,
I
especially
mean, you
you.
think I'm old all the time.
You will be in a couple
I
months.
will be. I love it though. I'm like,
Best version.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so wild, like how much as we get older, like how you just kind of feel like, okay, I'm just like kind of wild that I've gone 39 years and I'm just now like my brain is thinking in this way, and where you kind of feel like not like you're at the beginning in some ways, like because you're always at like a new chapter.
I mean, if you live to be 80, you're halfway.
Oh, that's why they call it the
How
midlife.
old am I? Am I 33 or 34?
I think you're gonna be 34 this
Okay.
year.
I
Mhm.
never know
You're
anymore.
91.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's 2025.
Hey.
You're gonna be 34 this year,
Ooh,
and I'm gonna be
so
40.
we're gonna have a party.
Hell yeah, the best party.
We're gonna have an epic party
I'm
for
so
Moonlight
excited.
Magic for
Mhm.
Amber's 5th.
It's really gonna be a celebration for all of us. It just happens to be on my actual birthday.
Yeah, but it is your 40th,
And
so.
also that
Epic Moonlight Magic. There's gonna be a DJ and vendors and alcohol and dancing and
fire pit.
breath work and all kinds of crazy shit. Tattoos, maybe acupuncture.
Cool.
I don't know. I can
I
ask.
wanna get drag performers for
We
this
can do
one.
that.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing.
I got on Sunday, our neighbor came over and did like community acupuncture for like Mitchell and Cora and our other neighbors. Like all of us just laid on the couch and got acupunctures.
I want to come.
It was
That
great.
sounds amazing.
So we're gonna hop off here and we're gonna go over to Patreon. So
Yeah. Oh, I just got chills.
we're finally fucking doing it. I swear to
Yeah.
God, we're doing it.
Yeah,
It's up,
this
it's
is
happening, it's going.
the
We're not
real
just
go
talking
time.
about it, we're doing it.
It's been a long time coming, but we've just been growing, and now we're like in our era of like
I think now we're treating
truly
this as a real job.
We're able to treat it as a real job. Like I think we've always considered this like another
A
job. We
hobby.
show up
Oh.
for it. Cute.
It was a hobby.
I don't know. I think we've always thought of it. It's just like we haven't had the means or ability to. And like, you grew a baby. And like, that was like a huge thing. Like, I know that you always wanted to show up so much more fully, and you always showed up 100% of what you had at that time.
Which was
And
20.
I was growing a fucking business. Like, and now I'm in a place where my business is a little bit more self-sustaining, and I have a really amazing friend who is watching the shop so that we can have a full day and I don't have to close the shop. And that is like, that's a whole nother level. Like we're both at just a different level than when we first started this. Like we both were growing new things and birthing things into this world. So we were doing as best as we could. And this is a lot of work. And so
I almost didn't come back.
I would not have let you do that.
I know you didn't.
No, there's no way. This is too
But I'm
important.
vibing.
And I know that it's too important and love it so much.
Yeah, I go through like waves of feeling like connected to my like higher self and
Yeah.
my soul and like the woo woo shit, and then I like fall off.
That's okay. That really is.
Cast keeps me on.
Yeah. I think that's just how spirituality is, though. No matter what it is that you believe in, I think we're always ebbing and flowing with it.
Sometimes I need to dissociate.
Yeah. There's just so much pressure around like doing it every day and showing up every day. And it's like, we don't need to be doing that. Like, what is right for you in this moment? And remembering that if you have 40% today and you show up with 40%, then you showed up with 100%.
Should we do do you want to do a past life regression on me for our mini-sode?
I for sure do.
All right, let's do it.
That would be fucking
Okay,
amazing.
we're going to go do a past life regression for Patreon. See you over there.
Come see us on Patreon.
We have a bunch of different cheap options that come with a lot more offerings.
Yeah.
So I can't sit here and explain it all to you, but you could
We'll
go
do
read
that
it.
soon.
Yeah.
We'll do that soon so that you can discover. But patreon.com/wakingupthewitch.
We'll put a little sprinkle in the bio.
Yes, you'll find it there in the show notes.
Okay.
Okay, enjoy this episode of Taylar's life story.
Peace, bitches.
Okay, we're just going to start this moment together by taking in some grounding breaths, starting breathing in through your nose and exhaling enough, releasing any tension or worry for the day. Another deep breath in, breathing in all that beautiful life force energy, and exhale. One more breath in, breathing in peace and love. And releasing, grounding into your body and into the space and into the earth. I'd like to open this circle by connecting with our higher selves, our spirit guides, our angels and ancestors, and all supportive, loving beings in the universe, calling them in for extra love and confidence and flow and ease, dropping us in a beautiful energetic container where only love and light and healing rays can flow through.
I would like to call in my guides to help me tell my story today. I would like to calm my heart and open my throat and really root into this moment. I would like to ask my ancestors and my guides to help me channel this message truthfully and honestly with flow and ease.
And so it is. Thank you.
Thanks. My heart's pounding. I'm nervous.
Called in your heart, baby. She's showing up for you, reminding you that you are alive and well. So I'm so excited for our guest today. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Taylar.
Hi, Taylar.
I am an intuitive hairstylist, podcaster, mother, wife, entrepreneur.
I like the way you said entrepreneur.
Is that not how I say it?
No, it's exactly how you say it. It just sounded a little fancy.
And many other things. Creator, go-getter,
Soul sister.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Waking Up the Witch, your podcast, Taylor. I'm so excited because we haven't really talked about our stories since the very, very beginning. We've always kind of talked about redoing it, but I think the more that we have moved along in this process of podcasting and connecting with other people, we realized our stories were talking about how we kind of found our witchiness and our spirituality to that point of starting Waking Up the Witch, but we've never really actually I have chills now, gone deep into the core of who we are and our story and how we have become the magical beings that we are today. So
I think
we're starting with Taylor's beautiful story.
to wear sunglasses.
I mean, you can.
I'm going to.
Okay, great. If you've seen one of our latest TikToks, we talked about the power of sunglasses and how they help you to just feel safe, like a superhero. What do they call it? Invisible cloak of sorts.
It might just be a tiny bit of autism too.
That's okay. We love that.
Yeah.
She's perfect. How do you feel?
Like I can be vulnerable.
I love it.
Okay.
I'm proud of you. So take us to the very beginning, Taylor.
Okay. Now I know how other people feel. This is fucking scary. Where do I want to go? Well, I guess I'll start from the beginning, from what I know, because I feel like going all the way back, you only know what other people tell you. I think I can do it with that. So, I was born in Anniston, Alabama, on a army base. My mom went to college, and then her dad came home one day, or she came home from break. I don't really know exactly. And he told her that they didn't have the money and she had to quit school. And so if she wanted to go to college, she was going to have to pay for it on her own. So she joined the military to pay for college to become a nurse, which is very badass. So my dad tagged along, and I was born there, and I would say a bit of a traumatic birth for my mom. It was a C-section, unplanned, which is crazy to think about because that's kind of what ended up happening to me. And I know in my birth with my daughter, I had this story that I was telling myself that I don't know, she didn't try hard enough, or my sister didn't try hard enough or something, and that if they really believed, they could have had a vaginal birth, and that's just not true.
So toxic.
It is, and I think side note, that's a toxic trait in the natural birth community, and I think caused a lot of trauma for me in my birth, not being born, but having a baby is the narrative there. And I know it's meant to be supportive in a lot of ways, but it can be a little fear-mongery and shameful as well.
Absolutely.
So I don't know a lot. Didn't live there for very long, maybe a year. My mom and her best friend had a daughter, Michaela. Hi, I love you. 9 months before me. And they shared a house that had a split door. and they lived
Dreams.
on one side, and her mom was in the army as well, and they took care of each other's babies. What else? So then I think we were there for like a year and a half. My mom drove me by that house in 2020 when
Chill.
I was like with her and Tommy and Kurt, and she was like, "That's the house." It was like an hour and a half away from where she lives now, and we like were drinking in the car and went and looked at it. It was pretty interesting because I didn't know what it looked like. And we moved back to where my parents are from, Centralia, Illinois, which is a small town in Illinois, about an hour and a half southeast of St. Louis. Not really a suburb, but I don't know, a little rural town. My family was really well known there. So my grandma on my dad's side was born and raised there. Her parents came from Italy. I don't know if both of them. I know her father came from Italy. Her mother was named Helen Taylor, so I am named after my great grandma, and then like a lot of my cousins have the middle name Taylor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
My
Cute.
uncle's middle name is Taylor, so my cousins.
All spelled the same way that you spell
No,
yours? Different.
my mom just wanted mine to be different.
I love it.
Okay, so ancestors from Italy. My grandma grew up there, and then she was a teacher at the school that I went to. I went to Catholic kindergarten, didn't love that. Even as a kindergartner, my mom gave me the choice to like go to school where my grandma worked or to keep going there. So
What didn't you like about it?
I think I was like a little naughty. They were really strict, and I hated the nuns.
Yeah.
They were kind of mean.
Were they like doing like physical punishment when you were in school,
No,
or that was over
that
by
was
then?
done. But all I remember of kindergarten was like I had a really, really nice teacher that I loved, and she was pregnant, and she reminded me of like Miss Honey from Matilda. Like she was so sweet, but then she went on maternity leave, and we got a substitute for the rest of the year, and she was so mean. And
We literally just watched Matilda on Sunday with Olive when we were having slumber party with her.
And every day we had nap time, and I would say I had a stomach ache every single day, and I would go to the nurse's office every day because I didn't want to take a nap, which I love naps, so that seems really out of character.
But when you're a kid, you just want to be up and play and not like miss out on anything.
I also there was like
normal.
a bathroom in our classroom, kind of like in the hallway. And I remember one boy didn't close the door, and I saw his penis, and I cried because
no.
Hiram didn't close the door when he was going. Those are my only kindergarten memories. I also remember every Friday was like movie day, and all these kids would bring in movies, and then we would watch them. And I brought in Grease, and they were like, "No, we can't watch this." And I think they put it on, and then like in the singing part of the beginning, they're like, "Okay, well, no. Also, why did your parents let you bring this?" I was like, "It's my favorite movie." Not sure if I ran that by my parents, but so then I went to first grade at Central City, where my grandma worked. She was a fourth grade teacher. I remember my first day of first grade. This girl, Jessie Hanks, came up to me and she said, "Are you the girl from My Girl?" And I was like, "No, I wish."
Saltenfuss in the flesh.
Yeah. And then we became best friends.
That's so cute.
There was another girl named Jessie, and I also became best friends with her, like from day one.
Oh my goodness.
So my two best friends all through like middle and elementary school were named Jessie. They didn't like each other that much, but maybe it was like a battle for my friendship. They were very different. Still close with Jessie Chapman. Talk to Jessie Hanks sometimes. And she has a lineage of witches in her family, and she goes to like Salem sometimes for Halloween. I would love to chat with her. I would love to go with her too sometime. We should talk to her about it. Yeah. I just remember I had a really good childhood. I think there was a point in like 2020 where I was like, and around that time trying to like, everybody has trauma, right, from their childhood, but I had like convinced myself that like I had a bad childhood, and I just don't really think that that's true. I think that I had a very loving childhood, and like it was imperfect in a lot of ways. My mom was 21 when she had me, which is
Yeah,
crazy. So young. And
so
like
young.
my parents were married till I was in like third grade. I remember we were at my grandma's house for the weekend, and my parents went on a trip, and they went on my dad's Harley. And when they came back, my mom was like riding on the back of the motorcycle and came inside and was like crying. And then we just like didn't live with my dad anymore. Also, to go back a little bit, when I was 3 years old, we lived in a house. My mom was pregnant with my sister and it caught on fire in the middle of the night.
Yes. Whoa.
And I had like snuck in bed with my mom from my bedroom and she didn't know where I was at. And like the house was on fire and she was like running. Oh my God, chills. She was like running into my room, trying to find me, couldn't find me. My dad wasn't in bed with us. He always slept on the couch. And she, like 8 or 9 months pregnant, had like dragged me out the window
Oh,
of her bedroom. And she had to jump out a window, hella pregnant.
holy fuck.
Yeah. I don't know if she had a cast on too. She always had like broken bones. Maybe she was like my sister was freshly newborn when she broke her foot, but whatever. I remember knocking on the neighbor's door and my mom being like, "Will you call 911? Like our house is on fire." And they like gave us, this could be a false memory too. I was 3 years old, but from what I remember, we were like sitting on the lawn, wrapped in blankets, watching the house burn. I didn't know where my dad was and thinking like he might have died.
Jesus.
I also used to shove trash in all the vents in the house when I was really little for a very long time, probably into my 20s. I thought
You
I
blamed
set the house
yourself.
on fire and I never told anyone. And then I told my mom when I got drunk one day and she was like, "No, it's
Oh,
not you."
oh my
But
God.
like I kind of thought throughout my childhood that I set the house on.
That's interesting that we have a siren going at the same time that you're telling the
Yeah.
story.
So yeah, my parents split when my sister was born. And then by the time I was in third grade, my parents split. So my sister was probably like 5. And then before they broke up, we were living out on this like beautiful property. We had a pool, we had parties out there. Like it was like backed up to the woods. So there was a trail through there. I was always like playing back in the woods. My second cousin, so like my uncle, my dad's cousins were like my age and they lived across the field from us.
Oh,
And so like we would run across the field and we had like four-wheelers and we were like romping around and playing in the creek and it was a house that my grandparents built and lived in and then they moved out and we moved in. So that was like
so
really
cool.
great and fun and I loved that. Luckily, when my parents split, my mom's brother and his wife Kara bought the house, so I was able to like still play there and stuff.
Fun.
And I feel like so much of my childhood memories are like in that home. And I like have looked it up a couple times on Zillow to like, because I wonder who owns it
That'd
now.
be so cool if you got it back in the family. I also am realizing, like, doing the math, like, if you were in third grade when your parents split, you're probably like 8 years old, which would make your mom 29. So she's like dead ass in her Saturn return,
Hmm.
going through like this big shakeup in her
Yeah.
life. Checks out.
Yeah. Also, ghost story. I remember like when my grandparents lived in that house, the bathroom always smelled like cigars, and my grandma would like yell at my grandpa for smoking a cigar, but he always said it was this ghost and it wasn't him. So who really knows like if that's true?
Grandpa.
But there were like a lot of ghost stories in my life growing up, which is
Mhm.
interesting because I'm like, do religious people believe in ghosts?
It depends on the religion.
Catholics? My
I don't
family
know. I
always
feel
told ghost
like
stories.
I've tried to ask my mom like some things like this to kind of figure out like what are her beliefs still. I think they believe in spirits. She talks about my grandpa
Hmm.
as if like they become angels more
Yeah.
than ghosts, I think.
At least we're ghosts,
Yeah.
apparently. I know I'm bopping around, but like every time I go somewhere, I have like a memory to go back. So I'm just
Yeah, I
like,
think that's how this goes.
so we moved out of there, moved to this street where like my Aunt Angie, my mom's best friend, lived across the street. And then every single house on the street had a kid in either my grade or like a grade above and below me.
So awesome.
It
All the
was
friends on the
so
same block.
fun.
It's like now and then you're all
Yeah.
riding your bikes,
That's where I
going on
like it's
adventures.
funny because I can now that I'm telling this story, like all these little things are tied into like certain pieces of pop culture, like the Grease thing or like the My Girl. But like I remember when my parents divorced, lots of crying to Dixie Chicks
Oh,
songs.
yeah.
And like I would always
Absolutely.
pretend like I was in like music videos while I was like crying or like staring out a window and a song is playing and I'd look at myself in the mirror and like be singing the song.
I feel like that's just the life of growing up with like actual MTV music videos.
Yeah, not
It's like,
staring at a screen all the
yeah,
time.
I
Yeah,
think
so,
that's normal.
um,
Just fantasizing.
yeah, just so emo all the
Yeah.
time, which, I mean,
I
checks
mean,
out.
hi,
Yeah.
Scorpio, Sun, Pisces rising, Cancer moon.
Yes.
Checks out.
So, when we moved into that house, that was, like, standing on the coffee table singing, like, the very first, like, NSYNC and Backstreet Boys
Yeah.
albums came out at that time. I remember just, yeah, running around. I also remember I kept a jar of peanut butter under my bed, and I would just eat it with a spoon as, like, a secret, which is really
Great
weird.
secret snack. It could be like
Um,
Little Debbie's or something.
yeah. My mom wasn't really a cook, so lots of, like, poverty meals,
Uh-huh.
things from boxes and cans.
Hamburger helper.
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A.
mom's baddie. She was always working full time and in college. And so like I was very much raised in community. Like I was at my Aunt Kara's or my Aunt Angie's or my grandma's
Same.
house. Everybody lived really close. Like you could walk from each place to the other or just run in the fucking streets.
Mm-hmm.
We moved from that street to across town because I think financial reasons. We lived in this janky ass ghetto ass house, and my Aunt Kara's sister was like also our roommate. She lived in like the front plant room, like a sunroom basically, which I thought was like totally normal. And then we moved back to that street in a different
Okay.
house.
Cool.
Yeah. Same.
Fun.
And that was next door to Angie's instead of across the street.
That's awesome.
So like just walk into her house. Angie had a daycare. And so like I was always over there. And then my other grandma had a daycare as well. Another thing that makes me very me is my mom's daycare. I was like always the boss of everyone. And so like there were all these other kids, but my grandma would be like, okay, Taylor, go pick what kid you want to play with and you guys can go do like video games or something special. While all the other kids had to like sit on this one mat that they weren't allowed to move from and watch this one show. Everything was like coordinated throughout the day. So it was like you get a show at this time, lunch at this time, toys at this time, but I got the pick of everything, so I was very much the princess.
Yeah, of course.
And that probably gave me some kind of complex. So then going to a school where my grandma also worked, like I was also kind of like, oh, that's, Mrs. Pickett's like granddaughter, so had some clout there too. And then my sister and I were like always beating the shit out of each other.
And how much younger is she again?
She's 3.5 years,
Okay.
almost 4. She's in August. I'm in October.
How funny. My sister's birthday is in August and I'm in
August
October.
what?
24th.
Stand for my sister, but
And they're both like in the medical field too, right? That's
no, my sister works in a
Oh.
restaurant.
Why did I think that your sister?
My mom's a nurse.
That's yeah. Anyways.
Sorry. My sister is very much the parent of my mother and I. She was like real drill sergeant child. You shouldn't be doing that. Don't do this. What's wrong with you? To me and my mom. So I feel like if it would have just been me and my mom, hot mess. Hot mess. We got water signs just floating around.
She's Pisces, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my sister, she's a Leo. She
Very Leo.
was feisty and like never fucking backed down. Smart ass mouth. Everybody called her smart mouth her whole life. She was just like, she didn't give a fuck. She'd be like, my family did like spanking, and I was always like the princess. I was like, oh, I don't want to make anyone mad. I don't want to like upset anyone. I was people pleaser. Like, I don't want to, you know, I don't know. I want to follow the rules and be a good girl. My sister would be like, hit me. And then run away, and then she'd sit on her butt and slide backwards so you couldn't like beat her with the wooden spoon.
Yeah.
But yeah, very much like, do it, you won't. And I was like, would watch her and be like, what the fuck is wrong with her? Why is she like that? So that was interesting. Yeah, my sister's fucking crazy. I mean, yeah.
This angle.
I think it's fine, but I am not like looking at myself.
I'm just wondering, like, when you go to make content, like, because I'm watching you,
Oh.
that like I'm
Okay,
how it
here,
looks
point
sometimes.
yours at me. That's fine. Okay.
A little.
I think I was abusive to my sister, but she says she's fine. I offered to pay for her therapy. She said she needs therapy. It's for other things, not that. But like, I would beat the shit out of her, but she would fight me back. And it was also like whoever got the last hit. And then we both wanted the last hit. So it was just pretty go on.
Are you like
for a while.
punching each other?
Oh, yeah.
Damn. I mean,
Not in the face, but like I'd punch her in the leg and then
Yeah.
she'd punch me back and then like pull her hair and then, you know, kind of
Yeah.
like,
siblings are brutal.
yeah, I feel bad about it. Or my dad would be like, do your sister's hair. And I'd like pull it really tight and then be like, sit still and like smack
my
her in the head. And then
God.
she would like cry and I'd be like, shut up. And it's like, that has to be kind of traumatizing. At least she's a good
Totally.
sport and says she's fine. I don't know. I'd be traumatized, but I'm more sensitive than she is. I have always been extremely social. I feel like after like 5th grade, I was like raised in the streets, friendly streets, not like, you know, scary streets, but like very much running the streets with my friends. And like, it's crazy because I think parents put a lot of pressure on themselves for like how they raise their children, but you don't give so much credit to how much time they spend with their peers and like how much that influences them. Like, I was around my peers so much more than my mom. And so I think that influenced me the most. And then, like, so the end of 7th grade, going into 8th grade, my mom, she asked us, my mom was really good about like making decisions as a family. She was like, what do you think about moving to St. Louis? And I was like, hell yeah. I was always in for anything. I also remember being in like 6th grade and thinking like, I can't wait to get the fuck out of this town. And I was like looking up Paul Mitchell beauty schools in San Diego. Like, I was trying
at that age.
at 6th grade.
Yeah.
I was like, I know I'm going to be a hairstylist. I know I'm going to live in the big city and I'm going to like make it big and like get me out of here.
That's
like,
amazing.
Yeah.
At that age. You're one of those. Just always knew.
Yeah. Well, so I think since I was like 5, I knew I was going to be a hairstylist. And I wanted to do like more runway stuff. I also wanted to be like a model. And I did go through like, because I was really tall and everybody was like, oh, you're tall and pretty. Like, you should be a model.
Yeah, I got that.
That was by
like middle
7th
school
grade.
too. Same.
But before that, I was huge. And I think I didn't, this is a very important part of like why I am the way I am now. But like in kindergarten, I looked like a 4th grader. I was fucking huge, so tall, a little chunky. And it like was really hard for me because I'm around all these other little ass kids and people treated me different and they'd be like, why is that big ass kid acting like a little kid? And it's because I was a little kid and I think that like in some ways I had to mature earlier because of that. And by 3rd grade, I was like 8 years old and I started my period.
When?
In 3rd grade when I was like,
oh yeah.
And so and I was the first one and I was like really shameful about it and like I hid it for a long time. But I remember walking home from school And I like told the girls. And they're like, we don't believe you. And I showed them my pad, my underwear.
Yeah.
And Jesse Hanks was like, you're a woman. I was just like, yeah, okay. She didn't get her period for like 4 more years, but
Yeah.
she was just so cute. She always made me feel like so good about myself. Even when I didn't feel, she was always just like, I think looked up to me in some ways and thought I was like so beautiful and older and mature and would just
Yeah.
like hype me up so much. But then by middle school, like I played a lot of sports and I like really leaned out and I was like tall and thin and pretty and everybody's like, you should be a model. And I'm like, okay, I guess. So I did do some like modeling training and tried out for some like commercials and stuff.
Nice.
One of them was like the popcorn commercial. What was that popcorn company? It's like
I don't
a
like
guy's name.
popcorn, so
What?
no. I
Love
don't hate
popcorn.
I don't like the flavor of popcorn is delicious. I
You don't
like
like
how
getting in your teeth.
just don't like the kernels in my teeth that it's just like I never really
Orville
care.
Redenbacher.
Orville. Yeah.
I think I did like an Applebee's commercial once.
Amazing.
I also, when I was like, I keep
I don't
going
think I
back
ever
and
knew that
forth,
about
but
you.
I think I was in like kindergarten or something, and my mom took me to like a Disney Channel like audition. And she was like, okay, you gotta be like, go in there and do your thing and all this stuff.
Cute.
And they like asked me questions and I didn't speak.
You
I just
froze.
stared at them the whole time.
You know
And we
what? It's
left and she
because
was
you're
like,
intuitive and you know how much abuse is
yeah,
happening back there that you're like,
like, thank
nope.
God. But we left and my
Intuition
mom was
check.
like, what the hell? You didn't say anything. I was like, I got scared.
It's the big times, kid.
So, yeah, I think like my whole life I wanted to like be famous somehow. Bring us back to date off the tangent. 7th grade going into 8th grade, my mom was like, okay, we're going to move to St. Louis. So I'm like, hell yeah. And we moved to St. Louis and it like definitely rocked my world. Like I
Yeah, big
was
change.
a big fish in a little pond, had whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. Like I could, be bossy. Like, I don't know. Everybody knew who I was. And moving to a school that was like, so I went to K through 8th, had 300 kids.
Wow.
This new school,
Like,
yes, around, I don't know, 30 kids a class. I don't know if the math is right there. But then I went to this school that was like 7th through 8th grade was like 1,200 kids. And so I show up the first day. I'm very mature looking. Everyone thought I was a teacher.
whoa.
And then this kid, and I didn't know how I wanted to show up because I had this like punk emo skater side, and then I had all my Hollister clothes. And I was like, which version of myself am I going to show up to 8th
First day of
grade
school.
for? And I was like, okay, I'm going to wear my Hollister stuff. And I think that small decision
Yeah.
made the rest of my
sure.
everything.
Yeah. Because that shit matters in school,
Yeah.
especially at that age.
And there was that group of people
Yeah.
that were the like emo kids, and then there was the popular kids. So I wore my Hollister garb, and this kid Trey came up to me, introduced himself, and was like, "Do you want to sit with our friends?" And I was like, "Okay." And then he at lunch, and then so he put me. He went to sit with the boys. He put me at the table with all the girls, like the popular girls.
Brought you in
Yeah.
and left you.
And I was like, okay.
Wow.
And I remember like, and I think I still do this sometimes, not as much. I try really hard not to, but like I can get kind of quiet and
Yeah.
observing
Same.
in a situation when I don't really know anybody. So I don't think I really talk that much. And people, once they get to know me, were always like, oh my God, you're so different. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to just like show up and like start talking. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to read the room, figure out the situation here. I think I can be very much like a chameleon and trying to like, which I try not to do now, but like, how am I going to fit in this situation? I always wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
So I hung out with those people the whole year. And then by the end of the year, one of the girls, I was in Centralia visiting like my friends and family back home. And one of the girls like made out with my boyfriend. Like one of the girls that was my friend.
In
And
St. Louis while you were gone?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
in the friend group.
Biatch.
And then when I got home, they were all mad at me
Why?
because they had all been friends since like kindergarten, and like they just stopped talking to me when she made out with Brian, Caitlin Wagner. And so that's just how I remember it. Maybe it went down different. But
I love that you're always open for another possibility. Like,
I don't trust my memory
I
that much.
I just think that's like it's very humbling, and not a lot of people do that, and it's truly like one of my favorite things about you, because
Thanks.
you'll be so like hardcore, this is me and this is how it happened or whatever, but also like just kidding, because also what do I actually
Well,
know?
that's my truth.
Yeah.
Your truth could be different.
Yeah.
So you ask that girl and she could be like, that's not what happened. And I'm open to
I
that.
love that, because
Yeah.
most people have too much ego in the way to like even admit that
Thank
it could
you.
be any other way. It's a beautiful quality.
I never thought of it. So thank you.
Yep. Good job.
So I spent a lot of time like in Centralia that summer between 8th grade and freshman year. I'd always been in love with this boy. Since like 6th grade. We'd always like DM'd back and forth, but then like in group settings, like he would just like kind of ignore me, and then like, but I loved him. And then like I felt like looking back, it was like I was like his little secret. Like I wasn't good enough to date him, but he like loved to like have me around.
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't be my boyfriend. He never wanted that from me. And I told this girl that I was friends with, like, that I was in love with him, that I had been for years, and then she started dating him. And then I was just like expected to like deal with that, I guess. And her family's like one of the most wealthy families in town. And he definitely lived in like poverty, but he was so hot. He was so hot. And like a little like, everybody wanted to be a little gangster back then.
Oh, yeah.
Like he definitely like I'm pretty sure his handle on MSN was like pimp something 69.
God.
Like or like playa or something like that.
An A.
So I we would like hook up and like in his car, and then we would like plan to have sex, and then I would like get scared and say no. And then he was finally like, if you aren't going to do it, like, I'm going to do it with somebody else. I was like, my God, no, whatever. So then he did. And then I was like devastated because he lost his virginity to somebody else and we were supposed to do it together. And then he started dating that girl. And then I remember
That's so
they were
shitty.
together and he like picked me up and was like, if you don't do it this time, like, I'm never talking to you.
After the fact, he still was trying to fuck you.
While he's dating this girl. So then I'm like, he's got his sister's Jeep. We park out in the middle of nowhere, and I like did it. And he like popped my cherry. There's blood everywhere, like all over the back of his sister's car, all over my honestly jeans that looked like this. And then we were like in the middle of nowhere, so then we just drive back in silence. And it's like so awkward. And then he drops me off at Jesse Hanks's. I ran inside crying. Her mom obviously knew something had happened. And I just remember like not feeling good about that.
Yeah.
Like I was pretty upset. And then a couple weeks later, he was like, she knows. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean she knows? And he's like, she said, I know what you did. And I said, I'm sorry I had sex with Taylar. And she's like, that's not what I was talking about. I knew you made out with this other girl. And so he like told on us, and her family knew my family. So she told her parents and they told my entire family. Yeah. And I'm like 15 years old.
Oh.
So I remember going on my family goes on a float trip every year. And I remember them telling my family and like, just so much shaming towards me. And I'm just like, and I was drunk on this family float trip. I'd been like sneaking beers on the river while my aunt's like wasted trying to have a conversation with me about like not being a floozy. And also somebody said I like pole danced at prom, which I like didn't.
Jesus.
I definitely like, got drunk and made out with somebody on like the floor. Wasn't a sleepover.
High school is brutal.
Yeah, it was crazy, and that was all Centralia stuff, so I feel like I kinda stopped going there after that, I think. So and this is all really, like, confusing, like, I don't remember very much. I think, like, at 14, I was put on birth control, and I don't know if that helped my PMDD or not, and I didn't know I had that,
Yeah.
but it
Do
definitely
you
was like
wanna explain that for people who may have
yeah.
never heard of it?
PMDD is premenstrual dysmorphic disorder. I wish I had something to like Google the actual meaning, but it can come up in ways of like as soon as you are in your luteal phase, which is the phase right before your period when you feel a little crazy, it's like very heightened. And so it's like you might feel suicidal. You might feel like running away. Like for me, I would like no show all my jobs and try to
Mhm.
destroy friendships and relationships and
Mhm.
probably try to ruin my mom's life.
Mhm.
And I don't think I had it because I've had my period my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
think I had it until maybe high school. Like, I
When
don't
the
think I
hormones are
felt
really
as
kicking in.
manic.
Yeah.
But also, thinking about a fourth grader or a third grader with PMS symptoms is kind of terrifying. I've never
Yeah.
really thought about it till right in
Mhm.
this moment, but like, that's kind of scary. Because even me dealing with them now, like, I am learning the tools, but like, you don't even have tools to regulate your emotions without them being like that big. That's crazy. But where was I going with that? So I like was on birth control and then like my mom was getting me into therapy. And I think I was just struggling a lot with all the changes. And then I think the PMDD was starting to ramp up. And then I started taking like ADHD medication. And like, I think all of these things kind of make high
Yeah,
school a little blurry. And
for
then I
sure.
started like partying too. So, um, I go into freshman year with no friends because
Mhm.
that whole group stopped talking to me.
And a school where they all are still around you, like, same
Yes,
people?
and then I go
Yeah.
into high school, and this high school's got, like, 2,400 kids.
Yeah.
The town that I lived in had 1,200 people. It was
Wow.
like a rogue so Centralia has, like, 12,000 people maybe, but, like, Central City is a village inside of Centralia, and
Mhm.
that's where I lived, and so
Mhm.
it was, like, very, very, very little. And so there's more people in this school than were
That's
in my
crazy.
town. First day of freshman year, I met Clayton, which is who we talked about with Madison. And he was a senior and I was a freshman, but he just like took me in. And I hung out with him and his friend group the whole year. And we were just best friends. Like nothing, I'm sure he wanted to date me, but nothing ever happened with that. And so I had friends that year. And then I was like, kind of making friends. I was always friends with this girl, Gracie, who was like in that friend group, in and out, but she was more of like an outcast type, as so was I. And I started smoking weed, and then like her and I would hang out with like the boys. So they were like they were definitely the popular boys, but like the ones that were like kind of naughty. So
Mhm.
they were like drinking and smoking and I hung out with like Justin a lot.
Mhm.
Like we were like best friends and like that group of guys. Um, After I lost my virginity, I kind of went like, all right, well, it's gone. I'm gonna fuck
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Um, which I don't know about that. I think I never felt the shame around sex like so many people say that I did before I lost my
Yeah.
virginity. I was like afraid because I was trying to save it. But after that, I was just kind of like, who cares? I want to fuck.
Well, how was, like, sex talked about in your home, like, growing up? Because I think that has a lot to do with people's shame is, like, how your parents feel about sex and talk to you about
I
sex. Is
don't
it
think
open
it
or
was like a
closed? Is
big
there religion
deal. It was kind of a
behind it?
jokey. My dad was always like, I'm just a whore. My dad was like always sleeping with a bunch of women and
Mhm.
like joking about it. And then my mom never made it like a big deal. And
Yeah.
then I just watched a lot. I didn't have like any, I could watch whatever I wanted. So like
Lucky.
I learned a lot about sex from like movies and
Yeah.
TV and like My favorite movie was Romeo and Michelle,
So
which I
fun.
just watched the other day.
Oh, so good.
And just like, so I don't know that there was like really a talk. We did have sex ed in school in like 6th grade, which is crazy because like I feel like they probably don't do that in that town now with everything going on. But like
Yeah.
it was very much like, this is what a penis looks like.
Yeah.
That's what a vagina
We
looks
did
like.
that in 5th grade. That was like when it
Yeah.
was first introduced to us.
But it wasn't, I don't know. And I remember in 8th grade, we watched a video of
Yeah.
a lady having a baby.
Yeah. Yep. It's called The Miracle of Life.
She had
We've all seen
a
it.
lot of pubes.
Lots of pubes. It's from like the
The
80s
same
or
video,
something. Yep.
probably.
It is. It's called The Miracle of Life. Same exact one, I'm sure, in every health class in 8th grade.
So, like, I definitely know people would be like, you're a hoe or she's a whore. And I just like, whatever. Like, I didn't care. I cared when it like affected, like when a boy I liked didn't want to date me because he thought I was slutty, but that's the only time it really bothered me. Besides that, I think I enjoyed the sex part, not for the like pleasure or activity, but for the connection and like seeing that side of people. It was never really about like, it was just the energy exchange, I think. So yeah, I had sex with like that whole group of guys, all Justin's friends. And then I don't know what was really going on. Like my friends, I made friends with Allison and Gracie, and we were like smoking weed, and then we tried like Molly, and like we were just partying all the time. I was skipping school all the time, and like I had missed like 160 hours of school by the time they were like, you just can't be here. But I liked missing school because they would put me in school suspension, and then I got all my work done in one day. And I asked at one point, like, well, can I just go in ISS because that's where I learn?
Yeah.
The best is like on my own. Like, I'm not good at doing stuff in class. And so, like, I would never go to classes, but I made straight A's. And they were just like, you can't do that, which is definitely a flaw in the system. Like, I was an excellent test taker and I was very smart, but they didn't like that I wasn't showing up. So I don't think that's how it should work, but they didn't like that. So I got sent to like homeschool, and I was supposed to meet a tutor at the library, and I did it a couple times, and then I didn't go to that. I thought my mom was gonna fucking kill me. She was just like, why can't you do anything? Because I was just like acting out. I was like probably very hard for her to deal with.
Yeah.
I
She's having
remember
to work a bunch and be a single mom and then have to deal with
by herself in St. Louis. Like, she's left all her family and friends and her huge support
community's
system.
gone.
And I'm just like acting like a fucking maniac all the time, just being so naughty. And then, like, I remember she was heartbroken and she's like, I can't handle you anymore. You've got to go live with your dad. This is just like, I'm so sorry. Goodbye. And she like drove me to my dad's house and dropped me off. And I'm texting my friends the whole way there, like, all right, I'm on my way. Come get me when I get there. Whatever.
Planning.
My mom drops me off. The boys swoop in and pick me up like as minutes after my mom drops me off. My mom pulls over to cry
Was
because
your dad home? Like,
I have
did you
no
get
idea.
the exchange with
No,
your dad?
I
Or
don't
just
think so.
like, dang.
Yeah, I think I just like, maybe I was like, gonna go to Jesse's, and he was like, okay, bye, because my dad didn't want to deal with me. I was like always not at his house. So, or she might have dropped me at my grandma's. I don't know where she dropped me off, but didn't work. And so she pulled over to like cry. The boys picked me up. We like smoked weed and cigarettes all the way back, bumping Lil Boosie back to St. Louis. And then they dropped me off at my house. And then my mom
Your
walks
mom's
in.
house?
Yes.
My
My mom's
God.
not home yet because she pulled over to cry.
What?
And she walks in. I'm like, thought you could get rid of me?
My God,
Just like,
psycho.
what the fuck is wrong with you? So that didn't work.
My gosh, that's so funny. You just went right back home.
Yeah, my poor mom. Or she'd be like, if
I would
you do
not
that,
even think
I'm
to do
taking your
that.
keys. And I would go do it. And then I'd walk in the front door and just drop my keys and be like, here you go, bitch. Like, I just like couldn't be contained. I was so crazy. People watch Euphoria and they're like, this show's so interesting because it's so outlandish. But that's like what my high school experience was like.
I still
Everyone was
haven't watched that.
partying, everyone was on drugs. Kids had guns, and it's crazy because, like, yeah, I lived in St. Louis, but I lived in the suburbs, like, the
Yeah.
wealthy
Mhm.
suburbs. Um, it was wild. There's just, like, so much I can't remember, don't even know how to wrap up into, like, this little story. High school is crazy. I didn't show up for the homeschool. I got kicked out of school, and then I had to go to this school called Fern Ridge. My friend Kate went there, but we were not friends because she hung out this shady guy who also, like, threatened someone in my friend group with a
Oh
gun,
my
and then I
goodness.
told her if she ever came back to school, I was gonna beat her ass, so she went to Fern Ridge.
Oh my gosh.
And then I show up there, and she's, like, telling the teachers because you have to, like, be interviewed to get into this alternative school.
Is it like a charter school
It's
situation?
alternative school. It's where all the bad kids go
Okay.
and, like, the kids with, like, learning disabilities.
Okay.
Um, so she's, like, begging the staff to not let me in, crying, and they did anyways, and then we, like, became best friends again. Um,
That's
that was
crazy.
really fun.
I'm so scared. This girl's gonna beat my ass.
Yeah,
Don't let her in.
yeah. That school was fucking crazy because you put all the bad kids together in one
Yeah.
school.
Those poor teachers.
Yeah. But it was so healing for me because they were like a big emphasis on like creativity and
Yeah.
like
So different.
like all these different things. It was a very, very small school. And so like in St. Louis, there's 3 or 4 schools in the Parkway district. So there's like south, north, west, and central. 4.
Mhm.
And so it's all the kids that fuck up in those schools, they put into this one school.
Mhm.
And all of the friends I still have as an adult, minus Allison, went to Fern Ridge.
Okay.
Like Nicole went there before I did. I didn't ever meet her there, but like that's how I met her. And like a bunch of my friends that I'm still like close-ish to. Kate, everybody. And so I started going there. I met this kid named Nick Jaffrey who was crazy. He was like very much just didn't live at home anymore. He lived with this like group of older guys and he would always be like, "Hey, can you pick me up for school?" And I'm like, "I guess." And then he'd like get into my car with a 6-pack of beer before school and he's like, "You want one?" I'm like, "No,
Oh
we're
my
going to
gosh.
school. Maybe ask me at lunch." And he like what else? We were gonna go to a music festival and he's like, "Can my girlfriend come?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." And he like invited his girlfriend and it was Nicole. And that's like how I met her. And she's still one of my best friends to this day.
That's so great.
But Allison was bullying me and Gracie and like they weren't talking to me. And that's another reason I went to Fern Ridge is because I had like a falling out with them. I'm just trying to
Wait,
think.
Allison
Oh, yeah.
was bullying you?
Yes.
Was it after you left or you were friends and then she started bullying you?
It
What
was
was that
just
about?
like, I have no idea. I dropped Gracie's phone in a toilet when we were all trying to do coke in a bathroom. I don't know. There was always something, drama. So I'm trying to think because this is also important. Oh, I think this is my first like experience with manifesting kind of, but like I was at some house party with Madison and this boy walked in and I was infatuated.
Uh-huh.
I was just like, who is that? I love him. I need to know him. Madison and I were like partying and we like took a selfie with him like in the middle and then I like printed it out at my house. I was also very obsessive about boys. I was always boy crazy.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with this boy named Ryan when I was younger and I made a Ryan shrine in my bedroom. Like all these pictures of him. I was obsessed with this other kid, Nick, from like first grade till I was like, I mean, till I was like 21. So always so boy crazy. But I was
Mhm.
like obsessed with this kid Alex that I met one time. And I like always looked at his picture and I was just thought about him all the time. And then I'm like out. We went on like smoke drives because we couldn't smoke weed at home. So we were just like, there was this one loop that all teenagers go through. And it was, I don't even remember what it was called. It's also off have you ever heard of Zombie Road? It's, like, one of the most
No.
haunted roads in the country. We should write that down so we can talk about it with, Christine. So I get a call from a random number, and he was like, "This is Alex Reed. What are you doing?" And I thought someone was fucking with me, like pranking me. And he was like, "You should come over." And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "All you bitches, get out of my car right now. I have to go."
It's happening.
And I already knew where he lived.
Of course.
So I had to pretend to not know. And like,
I feel like this is all very Scorpio behavior.
that I had driven by his house a bunch of times already.
I mean, I think I've definitely done that too, but
I was just a psycho. So GPS wasn't a thing also.
Oh.
So he like had to tell me where he lived, and I had to figure it out. He was like, his parents were rich, and so I showed up there, and it was like him and his friend and some other girl, and like there was a hot tub, and like we hooked up that night. And I was just like, I didn't even know he knew who I was, let alone have my phone number. I have no idea where he got my phone number, but like he called
It's
me.
the universe sent it to him.
And
your
then-
manifestation.
And then we just kind of started like casually dating, and I was so obsessed with him. I got some like LSD from a kid at school, and to this day it was some of the most fire L I've ever done. Like it was really good acid. Alex and I did it, and he had like a party at his house while his parents were out of town, and I just remember I felt like I was watching a movie, like all these drunk people around me. I was just sitting there, like watching all them do crazy stuff. And that was my first time with like psychedelics.
At a party. That
Yeah.
would be so overwhelming to
It
me.
was crazy to watch. And yeah, we just like started dating and hanging out all the time. We were like getting really close. I remember he asked me to go to prom, and my school didn't have prom because it was small, and I was just like, what are you gonna do with 50 kids? You're gonna have a prom. He asked me to go to prom, and I remember he was at work, and his parents asked me to like babysit his siblings. And so I was like babysitting. And when he came home, I told him I loved him. He didn't talk to me after that and uninvited me to prom.
What?
Yeah, that was like
Rude.
traumatic. And I had stolen this like giant picture of him from his parents. I was like, I don't know what the fabric is, like.
It's like canvas.
Yes.
Yes.
And I remember it was like raining outside. I was with the girls, and I took a huge knife and I like stabbed it in the face and set it on fire.
Also Scorpio rage.
But the like everything. Oh, well, I watched The Secret at his house with him, and that just like started everything for me. And I think I almost went into like a manic state with it. Like I was so obsessed with my thoughts that like I felt like I was creating all these things, and every single thought I had meant something. And it was like almost a little bit of a grandeur delusion space, which looking back, that was like maybe needed to be medicated then. So blah blah blah. We like get through high school. I just need to skip through most of that because I could keep going on and on. After high school, I was like definitely a big party girl. Like was going to music festivals and lots of raves and like all these things with all my friends and just like doing drugs, and it was honestly so fun. It was like one of the most fun times of my life. Like didn't want to be tied down. I had like multiple boo things all the time. It was just fun. I had so much fun. I like was friends with my ex, and he like told us to come over one night, and like we had hooked up multiple times before, but we like hooked up that night, and then we just like kind of kept talking, and I like didn't really expect that. And then fast forward a couple months, and we were like in a relationship, and we had like nothing in common. Like he was like a bro, like football and bro dude stuff, didn't really talk about his emotions. And I was like this free, loose, fun loving, like party girl. And I just wanted to like hang out with my friends. And like the evolution was very slow of me, like slowly being isolated more and more from like my friends, and like family and everything. So Gracie, the girl that was like my best friend, one morning, I'm like going to work and I forgot my shoes in the car. I worked at a restaurant. And I run outside to find my shoes and I look at my car and it said slut on the side, keyed into it. And I like lick it and I'm trying to get it off. I'm like, what the fuck? And I like step back and it just says slut 3 times keyed across the side of my car. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then it's like this mystery, like who keyed my car? What the fuck happened? And then I'm out one night and her boyfriend's drunk and he's like, "Yeah, Gracie keyed your car." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? That's my best
That's
friend.
your
Why would she
friend.
do that?"
Yeah.
I still don't even really know why she did it. I guess okay, very very quick circle back. We were at like a music festival. She liked this guy Reed. They were like kind of talking and stuff. And then he came back to St. Louis with us and was staying at my house because her parents were more strict and my mom just like let people over.
Mhm.
And then like him and I hooked up and like had this really intense DMT moment. And then I went back to Springfield with him and then we started dating. And I'm sure she felt like I like stole her man.
Yeah.
But to me, it wasn't like that at all. Like, I felt like our friendship was so much stronger than a dude. So, like, if she would have done that, I would have been like, go off, sis, like, get your man. Because I was a lot more free loving and like open and stuff. And that was just like, she felt betrayed. And like, I
Yeah.
get that most people just don't think the way I do.
Yeah.
But,
I've been there on her side for sure, but not like to the degree of slut shaming somebody about it and being angry too.
boyfriend too. So it was like crazy. So then I like ask her and confront her and she was like, "Yeah, I did it." So I printed out a document and I got her to sign it and it said like, "I Gracie keyed Taylor Pickett's car at this spot, this location." And she
Okay.
signed it and then I took her to court
Oh my god.
and sued her and Judge Judy found the case
Stop.
online and sent us like a thing trying to get us on
Are
the
you
show.
serious?
But her dad was a doctor in town and was like, "Hell no, we're not doing that." And my mom's kind of trashy. So she's like, "Yeah, I'm Judge Judy."
I never knew that part of the story.
So whatever. We like are not doing well. I like move in with Allison. So I lived with Allison and Nicole and like a couple other people in this like huge party house. Allison was in a very toxic relationship. It was crazy all the time. Everyone was doing drugs, like fun drugs. It wasn't like a like den of whatever. We were just like
Partying.
partying. And it was really fun and lighthearted. I think Allison and like her boyfriend were fighting all the time and I was trying to get her out of that situation. So I moved out to help Allison and then Allison and I moved into another house and um Justin, my ex, Gracie was trying to be friends with me again and I was like trying to forgive her. And there was one night they like both called me and they were like, "We're together. Like we ran into each other at the bar. We both love you so much." And I was like, "Cute, whatever." Go over to Justin's house in the morning. We have sex and then his phone goes off and it's Gracie and it says, "Let's not tell anyone about last night." And I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And he's like, "Nothing. I just drove her home and like she didn't want me to tell you because she didn't want you to be upset." And I'm like,
My God.
"You're a liar." And then I have to go to work. And I'm like on the highway and she's next to me on the highway and I'm honking at her and flipping her off and
Oh
calling her
my
phone and being
God.
like, "Turn around, bitch, like talk to me."
Oh my
Like about to
God.
ram my car into hers cuz I'm like,
God.
"Look at me right now. Like I know what you did. Talk to me." So after that, I was like, I also think that I isolated Justin too. I was like, all right, he wanted to live together. So I was like, we're moving to the other side of the city, not talking to anybody. We lived in this really crappy apartment that was like $500 a month. And from there, he like would be upset if I talked to any of my friends or like did anything. And this went on for like 3 years. And I became the most filtered down, sad
Mm.
shell of myself that like I had ever been. Obviously, I'm grateful for where I'm at now, but there's so many times that I wonder like who I could have or would have been if I
Yeah.
didn't go through that and like pull myself out of the beautiful, fun, full life that I had and into this like toxic, exhausting, cycle of just like sadness and abuse. Like, and he would get so fucking drunk. I would like, and I wanted to drink with him, but then it was like he would turn, which I know now he was on pills, and I didn't know that then. But like I would sleep in front of the door so he couldn't leave because he was like so crazy. And I hope he's healing now and like gets all the help. He's sober, he has a baby, he's got a girlfriend that seems really wonderful. Like I hope that they're happy. But that kind of destroyed me for a very, 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 very long time. It was like only 3 years living together, but then like I didn't really detach from him until I moved to Oregon. Like I had to kind of get out of the state to stop calling him in crisis. And like we had been broken up for like a year, and I couldn't even do my job well because I was like trying to be a hairstylist, but I couldn't have conversations with my clients because like I would stay silent during an entire appointment. And I remember I got in trouble at the salon I worked at because they're like, "Why didn't you talk to that lady?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I didn't know what to say."
Do you think you were just trying to not like be put into a vulnerable place yourself and like share kind of what your actual reality is? Because I think like in that space you're sharing a lot usually, like relating, you know, not just necessarily like listening to their problems, but you're also kind of relating. And if you were to like share, then it might expose the toxic life that you're actually living in.
Yeah, I think I don't know. And I like definitely confused the passion of the like fight for love. For sure. But there was always this like fire in me. Like every couple months, probably when I got close to my period, I would like break free, and then I would go on a bender for days. Like we'd break up, I'd go hook up with somebody, like party for 3 days straight, not sleep, whatever, and then I'd come home. And that happened frequently. And I would always like break free and then go back right to it. And then I finally, like my 23rd birthday, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I just wanted to go to a show with my friends, with Nicole and Kenny. And he was like, if you go, I'll be so mad at you. And this was in front of like all of his friends. They were at our house, and he was just like, you whore. And I remember he had bought me this Coach purse, and I was like trying to leave, and he like, give me my purse back. Like, take it. But that was the last time we like ever lived together. That was whenever like we finally broke up and everything. And I was like, I'm free. And I like started to get my spark back and my fire. This episode has been produced by my husband, Curtis Burgess.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Waking Up the Witch.
And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at wakingupthewitch@gmail.com.
And don't forget to head over to the link in our bio on Instagram for all the ways to connect with both Amber and Taylar. And go to moonbeeswellness.com for all your self-care and witchy news.
We love you. Bye.
Bye. Ow. Ow.